Hello there, and welcome to the weekly Outside Views magazine on the politics of the European Union. Commission President Ursula von der Leyen described the results of the United Nations Climate Conference COP27 as a small step towards climate justice. But the planet needs much more, said the Commission President in a statement on the outcome of the COP27. After a difficult week of negotiations, von der Leyen drew a mixed balance. With regard to mitigating climate change, the parties agreed that limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade requires a rapid, deep, and sustained reduction in global greenhouse gas emissions by 43% by 2030 compared to 2019 levels. They also recognized that this required accelerated action in this critical decade and reiterated the Glasgow Climate Pact's call for the nationally determined contributions to be updated by the end of 2023 to align with the Paris Agreement temperature target. They also reaffirmed that the Glasgow Climate Pact will guide a new emissions reduction work program to encourage parties to align their goals and actions towards net zero. The final results of COP27 complement the numerous bilateral and multilateral agreements that the Commission has concluded over the past 2 weeks. Commission President von der Leyen attended the summit of heads of state and government at the start of COP27 and signed partnerships with Kazakhstan on raw materials, batteries, and renewable hydrogen, and with Namibia on sustainable raw materials and renewable hydrogen. The President also announced a strategic partnership on renewable hydrogen with the Egyptian President El-Sisi, which was signed by Executive Vice President Frans Timmermans and EU Energy Commissioner Kadri Simpson. The EU Commission has disbursed another 2.5 billion euros in macro-financial assistance to Ukraine. The payment is part of a 5 billion euro package agreed by the heads of state and government of the EU member states. The payments support the Ukrainian state in fulfilling its regular tasks, which are made more difficult by the unjustified Russian war of aggression. With the payment, macro-financial assistance disbursed to Ukraine since the start of Russia's war totaled 6.7 billion euros. The funds were made available to Ukraine in the form of loans on very favorable terms with longer maturities. As a further expression of solidarity, the EU budget will cover the interest cost of these extraordinary MFA loans, at least for the current multi-annual financial framework. A further payment of €500 million is planned for December of this year. The disbursement follows a positive assessment of Ukraine's progress in implementing the 7 structural policies agreed in an agreement signed on October 3rd. These measures aim to strengthen the country's resilience and economic stability, improve the business climate, strengthen the rule of law and governance, and ensure Ukraine's energy security. Ukraine has also successfully fulfilled the enhanced reporting requirements related to this exceptional financial assistance. To continue supporting Ukraine, on November 9th, the Commission proposed the MFA Plus support package for Ukraine of up to 18 billion euros with stable, regular and predictable financial support. 1.5 billion euros per month on average, which should help meet a significant portion of Ukraine's short-term financing needs for 2023. The EU Commission wants to accelerate the digital transformation of the public sector in Europe and better link public administrations. To this end, it has presented a legislative proposal for an interoperable Europe and a communication. Both aim to strengthen cross-border interoperability and public sector collaboration for citizens and businesses across the EU. The law for an interoperable Europe creates a framework for cooperation between public administrations across the EU. It helps to build secure cross-border data exchange and agree on common solutions such as open source software, guidelines, checklists, frameworks, and so on. This enables administrations to collaborate more effectively, share information, and seamlessly deliver public services across national, sectoral, and organizational boundaries. This will connect valuable resources for the EU public sector and open up existing solutions for the benefit of the general public. At the same time, the administrative burden is reduced also in relation to legal, organizational, semantic, and technical obstacles. This reduces costs and time for citizens, also for businesses and the public sector itself. Cross-border interoperability can save citizens between 5.5 million and 6.3 million euros and companies between 5.7 and 19.2 billion euros. Before the special meeting of EU Interior Ministers on November 25th, the EU Commission presented an EU action plan for the central Mediterranean region. It is designed to help address the most pressing challenges of the moment. A structural solution can only be found through an agreement on the whole package of asylum and migration reforms currently being negotiated. To address the immediate challenges, the Commission proposes 20 actions in its action plan. They are based on 3 pillars to be implemented by the EU and its member states. First, its cooperation with partner countries and international organizations. Second is a more coordinated approach to search and rescue. And third is increased implementation of the voluntary solidarity mechanism and the joint roadmap. The EU Commission has called on public and private bodies in and outside the EU to donate buses to bring Ukrainian children to their schools. 5.7 million school children in Ukraine are affected by Russia's unjustified aggression against their country. Thousands of schools and facilities were damaged already. Potential donors can donate through the EU Civil Protection Mechanism, the UCPM. This process has already been instrumental in providing vital support to Ukraine and its people, including emergency shelter, food, hospital equipment, ambulances, and fire engines. However, donors can also contact the representations of the EU Commission in the member states, which will provide additional information. The EU Commission wants to protect companies and households in the EU from excessively high gas prices in the EU and has proposed a market correction mechanism for this purpose. It is intended to limit fluctuation on the European gas markets and at the same time to secure the gas supply. After the Russian attack on Ukraine and the weaponization of energy supplies, natural gas prices across the EU have soared to unprecedented levels, hitting historic highs in the second half of August this year. The extreme price spikes lasting almost 2 weeks in August, with spillover effects on electricity prices and a rise in headline inflation, were very damaging to the European economy. The proposed instrument consists of a collateral price cap of €275 for the monthly TTF month-ahead derivatives. The Title Transfer Facility, or TTF, the EU's most widely used gas price benchmark, plays a key role in the European wholesale gas market. To avoid security of supply issues, the price cap is limited to a future product TTF, so market operators will continue to be able to meet demand and procure gas on the spot market and over the counter. To prevent gas demand from increasing, the proposal would oblige member states to report within 2 weeks of the activation of the market correction mechanism what measures they have taken to reduce gas and electricity consumption. The Commission may also propose to amend the Council regulation on coordinated measures to reduce gas demand accordingly, if appropriate. In addition, there will be constant monitoring by the ESMA, the ECB, and the Agency for the Cooperation of Energy Regulators, the Gas Coordination Group, and the European Association of Transmission System Operators. And that concludes this week's magazine. A bit shorter than usual, but I have a very busy week, also with the Scottish independence decision of the Supreme Court and so on. But I hope I could get some information across to you. I'll definitely see you in my next video here on this channel, but in the meantime, have a look on my other channels as well. You can see something every day. I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.